Hey YouTube, this is Miss Brown's Beauty, and hopefully everyone is well. I just wanted to discuss how this Trayvon Martin case is going, and some other cases that has been going on that has not received as much attention as the Trayvon Martin case. Okay, in my opinion, this Trayvon Martin case, may he rest in peace, but I don't see where any justice is going to be served with this case. I mean, if they were going to arrest and charge George Zimmerman with the murder of Trayvon Martin, they would have been done that. So there hasn't been a charge against Zimmerman, and there's not going to be. You know, this is going on now for quite some time, and it's always like we have to beg and plead for the right thing to be done when it comes to any form of justice. And it's this and many other cases. It should be a wake-up call for so many. You know, this should honestly be a wake-up call. Now, I've just been silently watching the circus of lies that's pertaining to this Trayvon Martin case. He's a gangbanger, of course. Going to make it, all these pictures come out now where he said, you know, putting him in a light as being a gangbanger to justify the actions of Zimmerman. Okay, all little racist comments that you can't help coming across, whether you're on YouTube or any other online entity. You know, it's all these racist comments that are basically justifying the actions of Zimmerman. Okay. Let's see. With the video that was presented yesterday, yeah, was it yesterday? I believe it was. With Zimmerman, when he was at the station or whatever. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. We see what's being done with this. Anything to justify his actions, to keep him from being charged with the crime, you know, of murdering Trayvon Martin. Now, the tidbit of information on the fact, because I always wondered, you know, when I first heard this case, okay, I'm like, alright, you know, and I think I even said it in my first video, you know, when I was paying my respects to Trayvon. What ties does Zimmerman have? Okay? Because you can tell this is not working. He has some type of ties or whatever. Okay? Now come to find out, his father was, Zimmerman's father, Robert Zimmerman, is, he's a retired, magistrate for the, the Virginia Supreme Court. An interesting tidbit, isn't it? Now, they say, oh, he doesn't have, in Virginia, it's kind of different because even though his father was a magistrate of the court there, that he didn't have any any authority over trial proceedings and things like that. Interesting. Interesting. How many contacts does Zimmerman's father have from that, from his title of magistrate from the Supreme Court? I'm quite sure he has quite a few friends in the law enforcement that he's made. And let's not forget his Mason brothers, because in those type of positions, you are in a fraternity, okay? You know, so you're not going to come by those jobs just like that. So I'm quite sure his fraternal brothers are helping this case along. Very interesting. But I honestly don't see any justice that's going to be served with this case for Trayvon. Because if it was, and in a kumbaya-like world, it would have been, but it's not. After all, Trayvon Martin was just a black boy, okay? And there's too much hate for black people in this society to ever really get any real justice, because this judicial system doesn't see us as human anyway. It sees us as subhuman. Some things that don't deserve justice, you know. So, you know, hey, sympathies do definitely continue to go out to the family. And this other thing, sending Skittles and hoodies to the congressman, to Congress, and these so-called officials. Really, only thing I see with that we're doing with that, for anyone who's doing that, because me personally, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to make these corporations, many of who are already racist against us, I'm not going to fill their pockets and make their pockets fat in this incidents, you know. No. Because that's all we're doing. We're making their stocks, we're making these racist companies' stocks go sky high. Okay? And that doesn't border on a line of whatever trying to do, trying to seek justice, you know, for Trayvon. That doesn't go hand in hand with that. So, I don't think that's such a grand idea to do. And why the hell do we have to plead and beg and march and protest for justice anyway, when this is 2012? Anyway, now there's been some other cases that have been going on, as usual, you know, that have not gotten enough airplay. Rika Boyd. Oh, Rakia Boyd, I'm sorry. May you rest in peace. Here's a young lady who was, what, 22? I believe either 22 or 23 years old, who was shot in the head by an off-duty detective out in Chicago. Now this fool, this racist fool, okay, began firing. Now, of course, there's a lie that states that that her friend Antonio Cross approached this the detective's car with a gun, which I'm sorry, I do not believe. Okay, just how they explained it, how the police department explained it. It's always, you know, the cops are in the right when they commit these crimes. So no justice will be served. Now here you have a detective, I believe, who was shooting aimlessly. First of all, he didn't like the fact that they were there to begin with. I think they're talking or whatever. Not too far from the detective's residence, from what I understand from the different articles. Not too far from a park or whatever. You know, group of people gathered around talking, whatever, all unarmed. It says in the article that the detective asked them to. First of all, the detective is coming from some alley. Okay, suspicious, and supposedly rolled down his window and asked Rakia Boyd, her friend Antonio Cross, I guess, and what other people were there to keep the noise down. And the detective says that the response that he got was that Antonio Cross walked up to the car with a gun to shoot him. Really? Well, I seen a video of Antonio Cross explaining the situation, and you know what? There's just things that don't add up with that, and I tend to believe Antonio Cross's side of the situation, because for me, if Antonio Cross had a gun and he's walking up to the detective's car, how is it that Antonio Cross is shot in the hand and Rakia Boyd is shot in the head? How does that figure? I don't understand that scenario there, because it's off. It's false. Why wouldn't Antonio Cross be shot in the torso or something? Why the hand? And then I said, well, what hand was it that he was shot at? Which hand does he use? You know, there's so many questions that come to mind when you're thinking of this scenario that the police department and the detective gave, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't cut it. Okay? Now, Antonio Cross said he was on his phone the whole time. And mind you, I'm talking to his friend. He says he turns around and he sees that there's a gun coming out of the detective's window. And his first response was, oh my God, you know, trying to cover his face, you know. So he's not shot in the face. He believes the detective was trying to shoot him in the face, just like the detective shot Rakia Boyd. Now, how does that happen? How do you confuse? Antonio Cross says, he asked him, what the hell you shoot me for? You know, to the detective. And the detective told him, oh, he thought he had a gun. And then Antonio Cross says, well, how did you think I have a gun? When you see me on my phone? You know, like that. I mean, it's like, again, there's so many interesting questions that come to mind with this scenario that the police department and the detective are given. First of all, where's the damn weapon? No weapon was found. You got Antonio Cross is sitting down on the ground after being shot. That's where he was told to sit. He's sitting there. Rakia Boyd is bleeding. Of course, she's injured. She's been shot in the head by this detective. At what point, where's the gun at? If the phone that Antonio Cross was talking on is confiscated, and that has the evidence to prove that he was on the phone with his friend, if you're going to confiscate the phone, if a weapon was there, the weapon would have also been confiscated. No weapon was found. Just the bullets from the officer's gun. Do you smell a lie? Can you smell the bullshit that is brewing? Okay? Seriously? Again, a lot of questions come to mind. This is another case, okay? And mind you, there are so many like these cases in the urban community, okay? That has not gotten the airplay that it deserves. But we are in the cycle of truth right now. All the lies, all that of which has been hidden is going to surface, okay? You can't keep hiding lies, okay? Truth comes out no matter what, eventually. This is a wake-up call, and it should be. For those who have sight to see, there should be a wake-up call for so many. There's a war going on. There is a war that is going on in the urban community. We are being exterminated. Wake up. There is a serious war going on. While all of these cases are going on, did you know that the police departments have been given the right? The law has been passed where they are given the right to have drones. What the hell do crooked police departments need with drones for? Drones, okay? Law has already been passed where the simplest thing as a misdemeanor gives the courts the right to take your DNA. If you don't see what's going on, you need to wake up quick fast. Okay? They are just that. Look, this shit is out of line. It's out of line, and it's only going to get worse. Okay? Having your DNA, having the right to your DNA, and drones? Seriously? And they killing niggas. This is a kill a nigga moment. We are back. In the Jim Crow era, where it's okay to strap up and go kill a nigga. These are the times that we are in right now. It don't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter how well or how articulately you can speak in the English tongue. It does not matter. If your skin is a certain color, you are a target, okay? And it's okay. Sick. May Rakia Boyd rest in peace. May Ramali Graham rest in peace. He was an 18-year-old, okay, who was shot and murdered in front of his grandmother, his mother, and his little sibling. Crooked officers ran him down to his home, all caught on videotape. They didn't know this was being videotaped, okay, at his residence. You can see Ramali Graham enter his home. You see the cops come trying to kick in. They had no warrant. They had nothing. They thought he had a weapon. when they see him coming out of a store adjusting his waistband or whatever. Now, all of this was supposedly over a bag of weed. And it was justified. As usually, as it's done, it's just another black life. What difference does it make? It was justified. His murder. Wake up. It is a free-for-all right now, and we are targets. This is just my opinion, but those names that are called out, may they rest in peace, but there are so many, all across the states. Okay? We need to wake up. And we need to wake up fast for those who have not woken up. Okay? Things are serious. Again, Trayvon Martin, his family is not going to get the justice that they deserve. Just like the rest of these cases. Okay? No one gives a shit about black life. Now, all those who have been programmed to believe that they're a thug, that they're a gangster or a gangbanger, are you really? This programming needs to be stopped, because the only reason why many have been programmed that way is to help with the extermination phase. Every black face in the urban community is not a criminal. But since it is a free-for-all, that's the way it is. Every black face is a target. And being that Trayvon Martin, his image is being trashed in the media, these leaks and pictures are coming out to justify his murder because he was dressed like what? Someone from the urban community? This is a war on the urban community. No one is safe. It could be anybody. Anybody's child that's next. I read where Homer Wright, I think that's his name, an 81-year-old black man, defended himself and shot an intruder that came into his home. And you know, this 81-year-old man is sitting up in jail. He was charged with murder. He's sitting up in jail for defending his right to keep an intruder out of his home. And he's sitting up in jail. Wow, these real thugs, okay, are always justified in their crimes. How much sense does that make? Trayvon Martin's murderer, out free, living his life. Rekia Boyd's murderer, out free, not even charged with anything, living life. Ramarley Graham's murderers, living their life. Why is an 81-year-old man who shot an intruder in his home, who was trying to rob him, do harm to him, why is he arrested and sitting in jail? Can someone please tell me? And these murderers who are out loose with itchy fingers looking to kill a nigga, they're not sitting in jail. Okay. Well, anyway, just my thoughts. What's yours?